£100. Well, any thoughts on that?
Yes, well, actually, I think that...
Don't forget, thanks to Professor Stuart-Clark's generosity, we're not having to pay for the dinner. If you look at it that way, £100 really isn't a lot, is it?
No.
And whilst on the subject, I don't think anybody will object if I suggest, in view of his generosity, we waive Professor Stuart-Clark's contribution.
Oh, well, we'll see about that. In the meantime, thank you all. £100 is extremely generous. And I'm sure we'll find a splendid present for Sir Geoffrey.
Yes. There's just one thing. I've actually bought something for Sir Geoffrey. Being on his firm as a student, I felt I'd like to get something special, a bit personal. So I'm sure you'll all understand if I don't chip in. Is that H. Samuel? Yes. Could you tell me, please, how much are tankards? No. Silver-plated.
It's not...
£100? Are you off your trolley?
It's not a lot when you consider we're not paying for the dinner. And you did say you'd go along with the majority decision. I think it's very unfair on the others if you back out now.
I'm not forking out £100. What were we going to buy him, a set of 18-carat gold scalpels?
That's not a bad idea.
Look, has everybody agreed to this stupid suggestion of yours?
Not one person was against it.
They're all going to cough up £100?
Well, no.
Ah.
No, I suggested we should waive Richard's contribution, since he's paying for the dinner.
Dick Stuart-Clark's putting his hand in his pocket, do you? Emma's father's paying for it. And what about Mr. Tightwad? Has he agreed?
Who?
Paul Collier. I can't see him opening his wallet.
As it happens, Paul was very keen.
I don't believe it.
Yes, he was very keen. Just so happens he's already bought a present for Sir Geoffrey.
What?
Something personal.
Well, in that case, I'm going to buy him something personal, too. And I suggest everybody else does. £100.
Well, you could always try a raffle. Scalpel. Now, holding the scalpel firmly in the right hand, we make an incision in the upper abdomen. Of course, if you're left-handed, you hold the scalpel in the left hand. You see, surgery is very logical. Now, Crabtree, where were we?
You were just about to make an incision, sir.
Oh, yes. We make an incision in the upper abdomen. So. It's only blood, Crabtree. If you're going to be a surgeon, there's a possibility you might come across rather a lot of it. Spencer Wells, we tie off the bleeding points. And now we divide the fascia. Scalpel. By cutting along the dotted line. So. All right, Crabtree? Good. Next, we cut the peritoneum, so. And then we have a little feel around. Now, what were we talking about? Oh, yes, ways to raise money for your computer.
Oh, yeah. And I'm not so keen on the pushing a couple around London on a hospital bed idea either. That's really just a glorified sponsored walk.
Yes, well, we didn't end up with very much in the kitty anyway, not after we paid off the fine.
Well, why'd you get fined, sir?
They're causing obstruction on Westminster Bridge. Mind you, when I think of what the couple were doing on the bed, we were lucky we didn't get done for obscene behaviour.
You won't ask who the couple were?
No, it wasn't your father. Swab. I don't think it was.
Have you got any other ideas, Mr. Collier?
Well, you could always try the celebrity auction.
What, writing to famous people and asking them to send us something personal?
Nah, it's been done so often.
And half the people don't reply anyway.
Yes, well, our celebrity auction had a slight variation. The something personal wasn't donated quite so freely.
You stole from famous people?
Yes, in a manner of speaking. All right, but you didn't hear this from me, OK? Back in the 60s, when I was a second-year student, a famous pop star came in for some minor surgery. Marty, something, I can't remember. But he was very, very popular. I mean, he was so popular, Clamp, he was so popular that people would have killed just to get a lock of his hair. And a certain enterprising student managed to acquire his appendix, which we raffled off for quite a tidy sum.
What? Brilliant.
Yes, well, it was when you consider there's nothing wrong with his appendix.
What a great scam! I mean, if we could get, say, Joan Collins' appendix. We could earn a fortune.
Oh, marvellous. Yeah, we'll write to her. Dear Miss Collins, could you spare us your appendix? or failing that, your tonsil or two? I mean, they had a lucky break. They happened to have a famous person come in for an op. It was just a one-off.
No, Crabtree. We managed to sell off quite a few celebrity organs, which, if one were truthful, were not always covered by the Trades Description Act.
How do you mean?
Well, look, if I whipped out this appendix and claimed it had belonged to Joan Collins, who's to say it hadn't?
Well, Joan Collins, if she's still got one inside her.
True, Mr. Crabtree, but occasionally in this life one must take risks.
Hey, I saw this singer on TV the other day saying how he lost weight using liposuction.
What the hell is liposuction?
Well, it's a way of losing weight. A lot of famous people go in for it. The fat is literally sucked off the body.
What has that got to do with raising money for a computer?
Well, what happens to all that celebrity fat? We could use it. And we could package it and raise it.
Please, you'll upset Mr. Crabtree. Now, come on, Crabtree, stick your hand in there. Have a feel around. Come on, tell me what you can find. Come on.
I have to say I'm extremely touched by Richard and Emma's generosity. It's so kind of them to organise this dinner in my honour.
It's a good thing you came over to try these on. I've got to take them in at least an inch.
Professor Dryberg's flying over from California, especially. Did I tell you?
Yes, it's marvellous. Now, you go and get change, and then when Duncan comes in, we'll eat.
We went through medical school together, Norman and I. Hope he'd be all right travelling all that way at his age.
Hello, Geoffrey. You didn't have to dress for dinner. We're quite informal here.
Very droll.
Hi, Snooks. He's a bit premature, isn't he? The do's not till next week.
He wanted to try it on. He's so thrilled. It's a good thing, as it happens, I've got to take it in at the waist.
Yeah, and a visit to the dry cleaners wouldn't go amiss. The smell of the mothballs might put Princess Elena off her pie and mash.
He's so excited. He's like a little boy. I hope the night won't be too much for him.
Geraldine! Look what I found.
Oh.
That was the last function your mother and I attended together. I found it in the inside pocket. Wish you could have been there next week. She'd have been so proud. Did I tell you Professor Dryberg's coming over from California? Especially?
Quite right, too.
And Gordon Sinclair and his wife are coming up from Cornwall. And old Jack McNabb, he's going to be there. Oh, it'll be wonderful to be surrounded by all my old friends. So kind of Richard and Emma to do this for me. Oh, he's at the table, right? Let me see. Who are all these people?
What people, Dad?
These people on the top table, I don't know them.
Well, they're the VIPs.
But I don't know them. I imagine I'd be sitting up there with all my colleagues and friends. I'll telephone Emma. There's obviously been a mistake.
No, I don't think it's a mistake, Dad.
Of course it's a mistake. Norman Dryberg should be on the top table. He was my best man. He's coming all the way from California. And Gordon Sinclair, I was his best man. And old Jack McNabb, he was my anaesthetist in the early years. He should be on the top table. Now you, Geraldine, you should be on the top table. Where are you?
On the top table, Daddy.
Where?
There, at the end.
You shouldn't be at the end. You should be next to me.
Emma's next to you, Daddy.
On the other side, then.
Dick's on the other side.
I don't want Dick on the other side. I don't want Emma and Dick next to me. I want you next to me, and Norman and Gordon and Jack McNabb, people who mean something to me. These are all friends of Emma Stuart-Clark.
They are paying for it, Geoffrey.
I think I'll get out of this shoot.
I wish he wouldn't get so worked up. It's not good for him.
You're kidding. He loves it, shouting at people. The ogre of St. Swithin's, we used to call him. That's what we should do on his birthday. Get together all his old students, and then he could shout at us.